There is a realm, and in this realm are 9 worlds. And in one of these worlds lives the great goddess. And she has 2 sons, one who is blind, for he is destined to be the god of darkness. And the other son is the god destined to die, for he will become the god of death. Well, this didn't please the great goddess very much because she didn't want her son to die, obviously. So she went to everything that existed in all the 9 worlds and extracted a sacred oath from everything. An oath that they would never harm her son. She took an oath from bird and bear and badger, from oak tree and ash tree and shrub, from rock and metal, and from winds and fire. Everything agreed they would never harm her son. So the god who was destined to die would cheat death. And this made her and everyone very happy. So happy, in fact, they used to play this game. The gods would all get together, and the god who was destined to die would stand in the center, and they would all throw things at him, just like rocks and sticks and fire and anything they could find, just throw it at him. Well, everything that approached him, like, say, a rock, would come within hitting distance and remember its oath and fall to the ground. It was a great game that made everybody very happy, except for one person. Trickster. Trickster wasn't really happy about all of this. In fact, it made Trickster very angry, because Trickster's job is, of course, to trick the gods. And as well, being half mortal, he lost a brother in a great battle. And he didn't think it was fair one bit that the god who was destined to die had cheated death. So Trickster disguised himself as a handmaiden. And he went to go work for the great goddess. He would wash out her clothes. And they got to know each other. And then one day he said, "Oh, great goddess, I think it's wonderful how you extracted an oath from every living thing not to harm your son." And the great goddess said, "Yes, well, I had to, didn't I, handmaiden?" "Well," said Trickster, "every single thing gave you an oath that it would not harm your son? Everything?" "Well, not everything." "What didn't give you an oath, if I may ask?" "Well, mistletoe. I can't think of any way mistletoe could harm my son. And as well, mistletoe is so young. I didn't think it was necessary. I'll extract an oath from him when he's older." "Oh, very wise, great goddess." So Trickster got an idea. And he walked over to Mistletoe and said, "Oh, Mistletoe, can I borrow a hunk of you?" And Mistletoe, who's very young and fragile, said, "Okay, Trickster." And Trickster took that piece of mistletoe, and he formed it into a hard, hard stick. And he shaped the ends into points, and then he filed those points so it became a great dart. And then he went up to the blind god and said to him, "Hey, you're not playing the game that everyone's throwing things at your brother. Why don't you take this dart I've made and throw it at him?" "Trickster, I'm totally blind. How am I going to know where he is?" Said Trickster, "Just call his name. And then when you hear his voice, throw the dart that way." "Oh, okay," said the blind god. And he took the dart and he said, "Yo, bro!" And his brother turned around and said, "What?" And he threw the dart. And it landed into the heart of the god destined to die, who cheated death and was now dead. The great goddess saw this, and she wept, and she grabbed the flesh, the body of her son, and she said, "No, you can't be dead. No, I've cheated death. I took an oath from everything. No, it can't happen. It can't happen. No." She would not accept this, so she went down to the underworld itself and went to her sister, the goddess of the underworld, and said, "Please, please give me back my son. You can't do this to me. This is my baby. You can't take my baby. You can't do this. My grief is the size of the 9 worlds. Please give him back." And so moved was the goddess of the underworld that she said, "The size of the 9 worlds. If that is true, then he must be returned to you. But to prove this, Every single thing in the 9 worlds must shed a tear for your loss. So the great goddess went to every single thing in the 9 worlds yet again and extracted a tear from every single thing, from bird, badger, and bear, from shrub, and from rock, and from fire, and from wind, and everything wept for the loss of her son, everything except her handmaiden. Oh, great goddess, I shall not weep for the death of your son. No, 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 no. Death is a natural occurrence, and he was the god destined to die. Who am I to argue his destiny? No, I shall not weep. All was lost. The great goddess grew in fury and rage, and she cried out to 1,000,000 soldiers from the 9 worlds to join her by her side to wage war on hell itself and take back her son. War, she cried. No, 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 no. 1,000,000 no's. 1,000,000 prayers from 1,000,000 mothers who did not want their sons and daughters to march into war on hell said, no, please, great goddess, please do not sacrifice our children and commit this war. Please, please do not wage war in hell. Please do not give this gift of grief to us, 1,000,000 mothers. And the great goddess was moved, and she agreed not to march on hell, not to wage war. And then she heard snickering, laughter coming from her handmaiden. And this so infuriated the great goddess, she slapped her handmaiden down, and the costume fell off, and she realized it was Trickster. And she grabbed Trickster by the scruff, and she held him tight. And she took the flesh from her son destined to die, who had cheated death, who is now dead, that was impenetrable. And she wrapped it around Trickster so he would be bound for eternity. And she hanged him from a tree. And then she bade Serpent to climb that tree, and from his fangs to drip venom onto the face of Trickster for all eternity and cause him pain. For although the compassion of the goddess is infinite, so is her fury.